said this before, but it's mid-April. It is mad busy, and I cannot help but think that I am not the only one that's going, I'm way behind, because everywhere you look, there are pictures on the television, there are pictures on social media, you go into a garden centre, everywhere you look, you've got people who've grown their plants and they're looking really, really healthy and they're that big. And if you're anything like me, you've taken your time, and even with years of experience doing it, you've sown your seeds and they're still not showing, and you start to feel, oh my goodness, oh my, will I ever catch up? Well, what I want to do today is just show that yes, you will. I'm going to take you over to the tunnel over there in a minute, and I'll show you how we're getting on with the staging. But first of all, let's go in the greenhouse, and yeah, I just want to show you one of the seeds I'm most excited about planting this year. All right, if I just tell you that already this year, our plan is that we are not going to grow any runner beans as such, because I don't know, I don't particularly like them. They're the sort of thing, we've still got them in the freezer from last year. They're not going anywhere. Nobody rushes to the freezer and says, oh hooray, we've got a big bag of runner beans left. However, French beans, we use them all the time. We love them. They're one of the first things to go. So yeah, as far as beans go, we are not going to do runners. Now, I'm going to say now, if somebody gives us some runner bean plants, we will put them in, because as we all know, especially if you're on an allotment site, there's a lot of sharing goes on, and once everybody's planted what they need, you know, there's swaps and bartering and all sorts going on. So if we do get given some, great, they'll go in, but I am not actually going to sow some myself. However, French beans, yes, but also beans that you can actually use for the beans themselves, the pulses within. There is one that is an absolute must, and if you haven't grown it before and you can get hold of the seeds, please give it a go. And this is why. Okay, that is a lovely, lovely Madeira maroon bean. Saying that, I think it is. I think it is. It was in the same jar as the other Madeira maroons. It might be a runaway kidney bean, but whatever it is, that is the standard size bean that I would normally plant, I would normally sow. Okay. However, if you look at this one here, this is the one I'm excited about. Can you see that okay? This one here is a gigantus bean, and if you see them in the shops, they're very often, they're in little jars of oil, maybe flavoured with garlic or whatever, as Greek gigantes, and they are absolutely delicious. Now, you can already see why they're called gigantus. There's quite a difference in the bean. That is just completely dried out, just like that has, but you can see the size difference. However, once it is soaked, let me see if I can get a decent one for you. Look at how big that goes. Can you see now if I do it that way? Let's do it that way. Even though that's at the back, you can see how much that has swollen up, and the flesh, if you can call it flesh, inside that bean. Oh my goodness, it's creamy, it's delicious, it's absolutely delightful. So what I'm going to do today, these are my own saved seeds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to not plant these direct, because I'm a little bit worried that they might get munched, but I'm going to plant some that haven't been soaked and the rest that have been soaked, and just have a little experiment and see how much of a difference it will make to the speed of them germinating and starting to poke through the soil. You can see I'm not going to bother sieving this compost, because they are not fine seeds, so they're not like your carrot seeds or even your tomato seeds, but I will be running it through my hands like that because of the amount of rubbish that we're finding in our compost these days. Look at that straight away. I mean, what's that? Electric wire, plastic coated wire. That wasn't in this tray before I put it in, so yeah, that's something to send back to them. Yeah, so you've just got to be careful, haven't you? Right, but yeah, beans, nice big seeds, they're quite forgiving, so as long as there's not any huge lumps in there, they're going to be okay. And what I've got, just these, I want you to have some matching trays. So these two I don't know what they were used for originally, but they're the same depth. And I'm just gonna, easy as pie, you know how to plant a bean. I'm just gonna fill these two up as much as I need to, another big stick there. And then we're gonna see if there's any difference in the germination rate. I mean, sadly, I'm not going to be able to tell you this today because I'm literally just doing it now. It's one of those jobs. I always sow backups of my beans because I do think you are risking. Is that what's rattling? Might be. You are risking, if you put them out, you're risking not only the mice getting them before they've even emerged, but pigeons getting them once the little green shoots are poked up. So there we are. That's it. So all I'm going to do with your bean, I'm just going to plant it. I'm planting it on its side. Again, everyone's got their own rules about these. When I say plant it on its side, I'm going to have this little bit at the top here, that bit at the top, and just press them down. You can plant them. You know, people are quite funny. I don't know if that'll come or not. Might not. Put it in anyway. People can be quite snooty, I'm going to say, about the way you plant your beans, because they might say, oh no, don't plant them flat, or you know, whatever, because the bean will not find its way out. Well, I tell you, the shoots on these seeds will find their way out of whatever you put them in. So don't fret too much about which way up. I say this over and over again, especially if you are a new gardener. You think there is a rule for everything, and to an extent there are rules, but also I think sometimes rules are meant to be broken. And then guess what I'm going to do now? Go on, shout at the screen, see if it works. I'm going to put a label in. Well done if that's what you said. Right, when I can find my labels. Okay, and there we go. Right, let's get them up to that tunnel. Okay, if you remember last week's video, I was getting very hot and bothered in here putting up the staging on that side of the tunnel. And goodness me, honestly, I cannot believe how much of a difference it's made as we've been potting on, because this time of year our greenhouse is usually absolutely packed and we have a few bits and pieces up here, but to actually have a proper table, I mean, even though it looks short when you take the legs out, it is actually a good height to put our stuff in. Mike's added the other little table at the end. This is Mike's corner. I left him up here yesterday and he just spent hours. He's made himself another little trestle table there, and he's even got a couple of things on chairs. So I've got no idea what any of this is, because if you think I'm bad at labelling, I mean, the labels are in, but who knows what's actually in the box. But yeah, we actually managed to get this side up and running, just as Danny had mentioned, in the middle, so it actually mirrors that side. And look, it's just full already. So let me just show you. This is where these are going to stay now, the Gigantes. I'm not going to cover them. They're just going to get on like that. I will water them. But the thing is, at the moment, I'm out of gravel trays. And if you are eagle-eyed, you will realise that underneath, all we've got here is OBF board. I know, just not my mic, I know that if it gets wet, which it will, it's going to puff up and whatever, but that is offcuts from the shed roof. There's another story from the shed roof. So they just fitted absolutely perfectly on. So to be able to use something that's probably never going to be used for anything else at all, if that sees us through this season, absolutely brilliant. But that is why I've just brought those in on a bit of ply, because I've run out of gravel trays, because you always do. You think that you've got enough and they always run out. So until I get something better, they are sitting on plywood. But let me just take you around and I'll show you what I mean about not worrying too much about your seeds. Okay, here are my peas. Here are some of my flowers. These are cosmos and tagetes. These are pumpkins. more flowers, nasturtiums. Are you noticing a recurring theme here, as in we're just looking at soil? They are, what are they? Oh, I can't read that. More tomatoes. Let's see what other soil I've got. Marigold, train driver peas, blue lake peas, more train driver king tut, rare heritage pea there. Not a sign. Here we go. Sweet corn and cucumbers, all planted 10 days ago. Not a sign. And if we're lucky, under here we've got, what have we got? We've got a couple of swede and an asteran tree cabbage has just popped up. So when I say don't worry that everyone else has got loads, just look at that. I've got some lovely pots of soil, and if I'm very lucky I might actually get some plants from it. So that's two things today really. The one I really wanted to stress was grow something that you are going to be excited about. Even if it's just one thing, try something you haven't tried before. I know, and I remember it well for the first few years of actually having space to grow. I just wanted to grow everything because I could. I suddenly had the space to do that in. But it can become quite overwhelming, especially when you start to realise how many varieties of different things there are. So try and just, think of something to you that would be a real treat. For me, it is most definitely that gigantus bean. Saying that, there's some tomatoes and a few squash as well, but at the moment that's the one that's foremost in my head. So for you it might be a round cucumber, something that you cannot get in the shops, something that is a treat for you, and that makes it just adds that extra layer of excitement as you see it grow and it comes to harvest time. And the second thing is just to prove to you that not all people on YouTube I've got polytunnels that are full of plants this big and looking extremely lush and wonderful. There are still people like me who, I'm not going to say leave it to the last minute, but don't rush, and we all get there in the end. Yeah, hopefully that's a little bit of encouragement. Please put up a like if you've enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your favourite thing is that you're growing this year. Pop along to Patreon. We've had some great stuff over there, and the shed, I'm pointing over there because it's behind you, is really coming on. I'm so hoping that in the next few weeks we're going to be able to do a reveal. Come along to Instagram, come along to the Facebook group, but most of all, get out in your garden and enjoy yourself. I'll see you soon.